Welcome to Nifty Novelist. Today we'll be talking about instantly and perpetually creating awesome and memorable character names. Now let's consider John Smith, Jane Doe, John Johnson. Now what is really unique and very memorable about all these names? Absolutely nothing. All of your characters' names are always extremely important. Your character's name can define that whole character, and that single character can define your whole book, and that single book can define your whole creative writing career as an author. Now, your lead character's name is literally the single most important aspect about that character of yours. It is even far more important than your character's gender, and it is even more important than whether or not your lead character is either a protagonist or an antagonist. And why is this the case? Well, it's because it is the first and most prominent thing that your readers will remember about your character when they are trying to recall your character. Their name, of course. And if your character's name is not memorable, and if it does not noticeably stand out amongst all of the literally multiple millions upon millions of other character names from other authors' books, then nothing else at all about your character will ever even matter whatsoever. Because nobody will remember your character at all in the first place if they cannot ever even remember your character's name. But always coming up with new character names is a real challenge, right everyone? Well, actually, wrong everyone. I also used to have lots of trouble perpetually coming up with new character names, but not anymore. That's because in my 25 plus years as a creative fiction writer so far, I have personally come up with a really vast multitude of many different, very creative ways to instantly and perpetually come up with really cool and extremely memorable character names. Doing so is an absolute necessity for me. For example, in my newest and currently still unfinished 37th novel that I am in the process of writing right now, titled Alabama, which is book 5 of my continuously ongoing Planet of Clacatonia Saga series of novels, there are already literally at least 42 different individually named main characters. How do I always keep coming up with memorable character names for each and every single new novel that I ever write? Well, I will show you so that you can also use my own techniques to help you instantly come up with new, cool, and memorable character names every single time for all of your own books too. Try out all of these really cool suggestions. Buy a really cheap paper map of the entire world, or better yet, buy a globe for even more fun during this exercise, and I'll tell you why later. If it is within your own monetary budget, that is, for you to buy a globe, but if not, then just stick with a really cheap paper map. It will also still work just fine, just the same too. If you choose a map, then close your eyes and move your arm around in the air randomly for a few seconds, and then without peeking, totally randomly place your pointer finger on the map, whichever city, state, country, or geographical landmark that your finger lands on is your character's first name. Then repeat this totally random process for your character's last name. If your character's first name is a city, the first time around, make their last name be something else, like a country or vice versa. Like, it could be Cleveland Rushmore for Cleveland, Ohio, and Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Cleveland Rushmore is a really cool and really memorable name, right, everyone? No, with a globe it is even more fun because it's even more random. You can spin the globe around several times and then stop it in a completely random spot. And whatever place you randomly stop it on, that is your character's first name. And do this twice to get to your character's last name. I use this method to help me with writing my own book titled Goldfish, in which I have a female character named Kiribati Buridan. Kiribati is an island chain in the Pacific Ocean, which is the first location that my finger had landed on. And Buridan is the last name of my favorite real-life philosopher named Jean Buridan, who was from the country of France, which was the second location that my finger had landed on. And now for the tip number 2, pick first and last names that are both a person's name and also who they are. Now, just what exactly do I even possibly mean by this particular statement? Well, it's really quite simple once I tell you what I mean. I once created a character named Goliath Philistine. And as many of you may already know, Goliath was a real-life person from the Bible whom David had killed in battle with a rock sling with the Holy Lord's help. And Goliath was also a Philistine too. Now, Goliath Philistine, if you put those two together, it's his first and last name, and Goliath was a Philistine. So you get it? Okay. Now, number 3 is use words from other languages like Latin, Greek, Celtic, to name a few. It does not matter if you speak any of these languages or not at all, because the whole story will not be in this language. Your whole text of this story will mainly be in English or whatever language you prefer to write in, whether it's Spanish or French or whatever. But you only need to use these really unique languages of Latin, Greek, and Celtic just to create your character names, and really nothing else more than that. For example, I once created a character named Selim Delio. Selim is an ancient Celtic word meaning I hide. It's where the word cellar comes from, like a basement, like cellar. You hide in your cellar from a tornado. And Delio is an ancient Latin word meaning I destroy. Think DEL, delete. When you delete something on a keyboard or on a computer, when you press delete, you destroy it. You erase it or delete it. And so that's where destroy comes from. I chose this name for this character of mine because in my book in which he appears, Selim Delio is a coward who likes to destroy things. Or in other words, he likes to hide and he likes to destroy. That's what his name is, and that's what his name also means. And now for the 4th tip, take a totally random word and spell it backwards. In a novel titled Sweet Home, I have a character named Billy Resitinus. Resitinus is sanitizer spelled backwards. And this character is initially an assassin in my novel. Or in other words, he is hired to clean up messes by permanently wiping them out, as in he sanitizes them. Now, your 5th tip to go with here from me is use nicknames or aliases based upon your character's most defining personal traits. Now, for my book titled Yes, Yes, Part 2, I created a character who goes by the nickname Quote, because whenever he speaks out loud, he always quotes directly from really famous real-life people, depending upon the relevant given situation. For example, in this book, my character named Quote accidentally shoots the floor underneath a bed several times with a gun while trying to shoot and kill a live wild rat. Then the floor underneath the bed collapses from him shooting the floor so many times with the gun. And the bed dangerously plummets into the room directly beneath it with a big loud crash. As this happens, Quote directly quotes out loud from the actor Jerry Seinfeld, who once said in an episode of his own show Seinfeld the following line, "I think I may have made a big mistake." Now, tip number 6, take a few letters from several different totally random words and mix them all together with each other. For example, take the 4 words Velociraptor, Brown, and South America. Now take the first 3 letters of Velociraptor, V-E-L, and the first 3 letters of Brown, B-R-O, and abbreviate South America, S-A. Now put all of that together. What do you get? Velbrosa, which is now your character's new name. So you see, everyone, although coming up with new, cool, and memorable names for all of your different characters is indeed always extremely important, it is also never hard. And in fact, now that you know my own personal tips for coming up with new character names, You will actually find it to be a really fun part of your overall book writing experience. That's today's writing tip. I thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.